What if the story everyone thought they knew wasn't the real story at all? For weeks, headlines, reaction videos, and social media posts painted a dramatic picture. According to the rumors, Jason Momoa stormed onto the Clarkson show, lost his temper during a tense exchange, and was eventually escorted away, while a stunned audience watched in disbelief. It sounded like the kind of Hollywood showdown people couldn't stop talking about, but here's the question nobody seemed interested in asking: did it really happen that way? Because in today's entertainment world, a single clip, an edited headline, or an anonymous online claim can explode across the internet before anyone stops to separate fact from fiction. Suddenly, speculation becomes news, and before long, millions of people believe they've witnessed an event that may never have unfolded as described. Jason Momoa has built a reputation that stands apart from many Hollywood stars. Whether he's stepping onto a movie set, attending a premiere, or meeting fans around the world, he's usually known for his relaxed personality, quick sense of humor, and easygoing attitude. That's exactly why stories suggesting an explosive confrontation caught so many people off guard. They didn't seem to match the image audiences had come to know. At the same time, Clarkson has spent years creating one of daytime television's most welcoming interview environments. Her conversations are generally warm, personal, and filled with laughter rather than confrontation. Guests often leave praising how comfortable she makes them feel, making the idea of a major on-air clash feel even more surprising. So how did these two familiar Hollywood personalities suddenly become the center of such an unbelievable controversy? It all began with a title that spread like wildfire across YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and countless entertainment blogs. The wording was impossible to ignore. Jason Momoa allegedly argued with Clarkson during an interview, refused to back down, and was eventually removed from the set. People clicked. Millions watched. Comments pour in from every direction. Some immediately defended Jason, arguing that celebrities shouldn't tolerate disrespectful interview questions. Others sided with Kelly, insisting that journalists had every right to ask difficult questions. Yet surprisingly few people paused long enough to ask where the story had actually come from. That's what makes this entire situation so fascinating. Sometimes the biggest entertainment stories aren't about what happened inside the studio. They're about what happens after viewers leave the studio and the internet begins filling in the blanks with assumptions, exaggerations, and viral storytelling. As the rumor continued spreading, countless creators started repeating the same dramatic version of events. Each retelling became slightly more intense than the last. New details appeared out of nowhere. Supposed eyewitnesses surfaced online. Edited thumbnails showed furious expressions. Headlines became even more sensational. Before long, many people accepted the story as undeniable fact, but entertainment history has taught us something important. The more unbelievable a celebrity story sounds, the more carefully it deserves to be examined. Jason Momoa isn't new to public attention. Since becoming an international star through blockbuster franchises and television hits, nearly every public appearance has been analyzed frame by frame. Fans have watched him joke with interviewers, surprise audiences with his playful personality, and openly discuss his family, career, and personal passions. Clarkson has experienced something similar. Transitioning from chart-topping singer to award-winning television host isn't an easy path. Yet she managed to earn praise for creating conversations that often feel more like casual chats than formal interviews. That's why this alleged confrontation immediately stood out. If two personalities known for warmth and humor suddenly found themselves locked in an explosive televised argument, it would represent one of the most unexpected celebrity moments in recent memory. Naturally, people wanted answers. Some searched for the full interview, others looked for official statements. Many expected major entertainment networks to confirm exactly what had happened. Instead, confusion only grew. Different videos described completely different versions of the same supposed incident. Some claimed the disagreement started over Jason's acting career. Others insisted it involved personal criticism. A few even suggested producers rushed onto the stage before cameras stopped rolling. Every version sounded convincing. None seemed to match perfectly, and that's where this story becomes far more interesting than the original rumor itself. Because sometimes the biggest mystery isn't what happened between two celebrities. It's how millions of people can become convinced they witnessed something that may have been dramatically exaggerated or even entirely fictional through the power of viral storytelling alone. As more people began digging deeper, Unexpected questions started emerging, questions that would completely change the direction of the story. The deeper researchers looked, the stranger the timeline became. People started searching for clips from the alleged episode, expecting to find a complete broadcast showing the confrontation from beginning to end. Instead, they found short edits, dramatic thumbnails, voiceover narrations, and countless reaction videos, but almost nobody could point to an official recording of the supposed incident itself. That immediately raised eyebrows. In today's media landscape, major daytime talk shows are watched by millions. Every memorable interview is clipped, shared, analyzed, and reposted within minutes. If an A-list actor truly exploded on camera, argued with the host, and had security escort him off the stage, there would almost certainly be dozens of camera angles, audience recordings, backstage reports, and statements from people who were actually there. Yet none of that appeared. Instead, the internet became trapped inside an endless cycle. One creator referenced another, that creator referenced someone else. Soon, everyone was citing each other without tracing the story back to an original, verified source. It's a pattern that's become surprisingly common online. A dramatic headline grabs attention. Another channel retells it with slightly stronger language. A third adds emotional music and imagined dialogue. By the time thousands of people have repeated the story, it begins to feel authentic even if the original evidence was never there. Jason Momoa has experienced this kind of online speculation before. Being one of Hollywood's biggest stars means almost every public appearance attracts enormous attention. A serious facial expression becomes evidence that he's angry. Walking quickly past photographers becomes proof that he's furious. Even a short pause during an interview can inspire dozens of completely different theories. That's the downside of celebrity culture. People often fill silence with assumptions. Clarkson understands that reality just as well. Hosting a daily television program means asking questions that balance entertainment with genuine conversation. Every interview is carefully planned. Producers coordinate discussion topics ahead of time, and guests generally know the direction the conversation will take. Of course, unexpected moments happen. Guests occasionally become emotional. Some disagree with certain questions. Others redirect conversations toward topics they feel more comfortable discussing. That's simply part of live television. But there's a huge difference between an uncomfortable interview and the kind of explosive confrontation described across social media. As viewers continued investigating, another interesting detail emerged. Many of the viral stories followed almost the exact same structure. They began with an attention-grabbing introduction. Then they described increasingly dramatic dialogue. Each exchange became more emotional than the last. Eventually, the conflict reached an explosive climax involving security, shocked audiences, and stunned producers. It almost read less like journalism. And more like a movie script. That realization caused many viewers to step back and reconsider everything they'd heard. Could the conversations being quoted actually have happened? Or were they simply fictional dialogue written to sound believable? The more carefully people compared different versions, the more inconsistencies they discovered. In one telling, Jason supposedly became upset after a question about action films. Another version claimed the disagreement centered on artistic credibility. Elsewhere, the conflict supposedly began because of comments about Hollywood stereotypes. Each version contradicted the others, yet every narrator spoke with complete confidence. That's one reason media experts constantly remind audiences to distinguish between commentary and confirmed reporting. Confident storytelling doesn't automatically make a story true. In fact, the most convincing misinformation often sounds incredibly detailed. Specific dialogue. Precise reactions. Descriptions of facial expressions, even imagined thoughts and emotions. Those details make a story feel real even when they can't be independently verified. Ironically, Jason Momoa himself has often spoken about authenticity throughout interviews over the years. He's emphasized enjoying genuine conversations rather than carefully manufactured celebrity images. Fans appreciate that honesty because it makes him seem approachable. Despite his enormous success, Clarkson has built her own career on a similar foundation. Her audience connects with her because she laughs easily, admits mistakes, and rarely presents herself as perfect. That's one reason celebrities frequently agree to appear on her show. They expect a relaxed environment rather than an interrogation, which brings everything back to the central mystery. If both individuals have reputations built on openness and professionalism, why did so many people instantly believe they had become bitter enemies overnight? The answer may reveal far more about today's internet than it does about either celebrity. Because once a sensational story begins spreading, stopping it can become almost impossible, even after questions emerge. Even after inconsistencies appear. Even after evidence becomes difficult to find. The headline often survives long after the facts have faded into the background, and just when it seemed the story couldn't become any more confusing,